Welcome back to this third episode of us trying to explain how we see you can benefit from using these ISO standards. In the last episode we talked about the analysis of interested parties. That's actually clause 4.2, and in this episode I'm going to talk about 4.1. So it doesn't matter actually, because these are going to be made in parallel when you make the system. So this is just the way I prefer to do it. Looking at the clause, which is the same clause in all three standards. Again, I would say that looking at these threats and opportunities, you might as well do it as an overall analysis for all the organization rather than have an analysis for health and safety, for environment, for quality, code of conduct, not code of conduct, but CSR, and so on and so forth. It will not help you. It will help you enormously if you do that as an overall exercise and then find out afterwards, how can my quality management system support this? How can my health and safety management system support me in mitigating these threats that I'm looking at? See, the reason why we're looking at these threats and opportunities is that we have different kind of threats and opportunities looking into the standards. There's a big bucket of threats and opportunities that you can control. Those are the ones that the management system are going to deal with. That is what you put down in clause 6, that is what you put down in clause 8 and so forth. But then again, there's a lot of issues out there that you cannot control. For these issues, you can only prepare. You can only try to mitigate them by being prepared if they should turn out to be right. An example, a tornado. A tornado is definitely for many organizations a big threat. You cannot do anything about the tornado, but you can prepare. You can have shelters, you can have whatever you like in order to prepare for all the damage that such a tornado could bring with it. Financial crisis. You cannot stop the financial crisis. I believe not. Maybe you can, I can't. But anyway, you can mitigate the effect of the financial crisis by having your economy at a certain level so you can survive should this happen. And there's a lot of examples like that, saying I need to prepare for this, I can't control it, the only thing I can do is be as well prepared as possible. And that is what we're looking for in 4.1. The whole thing is to look into the big crystal ball and look into what reasonably could hit my organization in such a way that I cannot fulfill my strategic direction, that I cannot fulfill my objectives. That could be a new competitor, that could be legislation, and that could be, as I said, financial crisis, that could be tornadoes, flooding, that could be a lot of different things, and that will be different for each and every organization, depending who you are, what you do, and so on and so forth. Changes in politics. Some companies are very dependent on subsidizing. If that disappears, they will not have a business anymore. Some companies are very dependent on specific political thinking. If that changes, they might be out of business. So, the aim for you is to find out exactly what am I looking at, what can hit me very hard, and how do I prepare for that. There's a very simple way of doing that. Where we do it, we sit down and then we take the issue and write all the issues as a brainstorm. Just write issues down, and then we say, what is the possibility for this to happen, and what will the effect be? And if you take the possibility and the effect from 1 to 5 and add them, then you get a figure, and you can say anything that is above, say, 10, I will have to deal with. That's very simple. It's non-scientific in any way, but the only thing you have to do is actually find out, what do I need to deal with, and what could I leave because it's not really very probable that this will happen anyway. So, just a small table like that with your issues on, and remember, they can be positive and negative. So we will add that on as we go along, and I will show that. Yeah, let's take it on the screen on its own, and I'll just show you how that can look. So, the next thing you have to do is when you have identified your issues, your threats, your opportunities, you have to find out how to deal with it. What process do I have to deal with that specific issue I found out? Let's say a tornado. What process should deal with that? Should that be my production area? Should that be my emergency preparedness, for instance? Oh, that was something. I could take my emergency preparedness and I could say to these guys that are responsible for that, you have to take into account the probability of hurricanes or flooding or whatever that we're looking at. And you have to prepare the buildings, you have to prepare the shelters and so on and so forth. So you actually do have a process in your management system that is able to take care of that. That is very clear in 14,001 and it's very clear in 45,001. Not that clear in 9,001, and that doesn't matter because you do have the other systems to take over that part of it. And that is what you have to do with all the issues you find. Find out how do I actually put them into words, to put them into a process and say this process have to deal with this issue because this is what are going to hit us. I'll try to draw that. Let's try to draw it, put it into a table and see what happens. You see, overall here, I have my issue. Then I define in words, what is the problem? What am I to do? And what process is going to take over that? From that, I can put it into KPIs. I can put it into specific, again, wording, if I like to do that. And I can measure, are we prepared? By having such and such emergency preparedness equipment, sirens, whatever, to make sure that this is actually working. It's very simple actually, and no scientific rocket science in this at all. But if you do this, then you really are preparing yourself for something that you might not have seen coming before. So look at this, see what you like. Stay tuned. Next time we are going into the scope of the management system, which is very important to have that right. So please stay tuned, come back and listen to what we have to say. If you feel that you want to comment on anything I said here, please send an email. I'm very willing to discuss anything. This is my opinion, and many people have other opinions, and that's fair. That's how the world is. Thank you very much for listening. Stay tuned.